What's up guys, Ben here for Player.net, and today we're taking a look at the ASUS Z97-K motherboard. Now this is of course, as mentioned already, one of the new Z97 motherboards, LGA 1150, so it supports the current Haswell and Haswell refresh processors, as well as the upcoming Broadwell processors. As you can see here, just quickly on the front of the box, we of course have our ASUS branding up in the top right. It lets us know our model number right here, right below it. And we've got a big kind of badge saying that it gives us 5 times protection. And down at the bottom left it says proven quality, enduring trust. And it just goes on again to reinforce that 5 times protection, 1,000 plus compatible devices, and 7,000 plus validation hours. We can also notice that this of course does support the Intel core inside. As mentioned, the LGA 1150 socket. It supports AMD Crossfire, and it says it's Windows 8.1 and HDMI ready. Moving on to the back of the box, as we normally see with motherboards, there's a lot more information here. We of course have a nice picture of our motherboard with a diagram detailing us all the specific points and components of the motherboard. Of course, it lets us know that our Intel Z97 chipset is under this nice ASUS heatsink here. We of course have our PCI Express 3.0 slot, which is of course 2.0 backwards compatible. And then it just goes on to let us know where our audio VGA ports, DDR3 RAM, up to 3200 megahertz in OC mode and stuff like that. And then if you look around the box, it goes into a bit more detailed information on some of those features. Let's go ahead and have a quick look in the box and see what we have. Alright, this is a bit different. As we can see here, set the motherboards aside for a minute and we can take a look. I see hiding in here was of course some SATA 3 cables, 6.0 gigabytes per second. These have a nice design to them. There's 2 of them in this pack. We have our safety information booklet. We have a quick start guide. And of course, there it is, we have our user guide and our Z97 series driver disk. And there is a little ASUS badge in there to go ahead and put on our case. As always, I would recommend you go to the ASUS site and download the latest drivers and everything right from them. Go ahead and get the latest BIOS, especially on these Z97 boards, as they are very new. So granted, the BIOS are probably almost already outdated, and there'll be more releases coming shortly as well. And last but not least, we have our I/O backplate, which is just a generic silver one, nothing fancy, but it's not too bad either. Take a quick look at the motherboard itself, up live and in person. Alright. So here we have the ASUS Z97-K. And as mentioned, we of course have our PCI 3.0 lane. We have this nice heat sink that's covering our Z97 chipset. The other heat sink up here, which is quite nice, gold to match this one. We have our RAM, and the PCB itself kind of looks like it's a dark gray-ish, if I will. It also looks like this board may have another one of the audio trace lights here. I'm not positive, I can't guarantee that yet, but when I go ahead and get this plugged in and installed in a few minutes, I'll be able to have a look. This is my first look at the board, and one thing I'm already noticing is how they have split the SATA ports up. We have 2 SATA 6 gigabyte ports up here, so there'll be 6 pardon, that'll be our SATA 3 6.0 gigabyte ports. And then there's 4 more down here, so it's kinda, I'm guessing it's to do with how the heatsink is positioned on this board. The ASUS kinda had to differentiate from the norm a bit, go ahead and put them in a couple different places. Other than that, it looks pretty generic. We of course have all our front panel headers and USB headers down here. There are some fan headers scattered across the board. We of course have our USB 3 here, our RAM slots, our CPU socket, which of course has our nice protection thing on it. As you'll see here, the socket itself, the retention bracket, is a nice silver. So moving on to the rear, the I/O, backplate, backspace, whatever you like to call it, pardon me. We of course have our generic audio jacks here. We have our two 2.0 USB 2 ports, pardon me, of course with our LAN on top. 4 USB 3s, our HDMI, VGA/D sub, and our DVI connectors for our output to our monitors. And then we of course have our PS2 mouse and keyboard connections. Overall, this board looks very generic, but not so much in that of a bad way. It of course still has the M2 socket right here. I don't know if you can see it, it's probably a bit hard, but of course has that, so it's always nice to see, especially on the Z97 boards. But it looks, like I said, it looks like a nice generic, maybe an entry-level board. I forgot to check the price on it, but I'll of course include that in the review. I'm looking forward to getting it in my system and trying it out and seeing how well it performs. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, leave feedback, and check back for more content in the near future.